Manchester United. What have we just witnessed? What have we just witnessed? Unbelievable scenes at Old Trafford today. I'm still in shock. Erik Ten Hag has really transformed this team. 4 weeks ago, a month ago, we were losing 4-0 to Brentford. Now, that's no disrespect to them, but look at where we are now. Look at what his philosophy has done to those players, the changes that he's made. Bold moves, dropping Maguire, your captain, taking off the best player in the world in Cristiano Ronaldo and leaving him on the bench to play with a much more attacking flair in Sancho, Rashford, and today Antony. We'll get onto him in a little bit. But wow, unbelievable. Credit to Arsenal, first and foremost. They looked incredible today, Arsenal did. That was one of the best Arsenal performances I've seen. But having said that, I've got to counter it with, what did they create? What did they actually do? We've seen it in the last 3 games now. Leicester created a lot. They tried to create a lot rather, and they just couldn't get anything towards De Gea apart from that free kick. The game before that against Southampton, we controlled every aspect of that game. They got a few sights at goal, but nothing too drastic. You also look at what happened in the game against Liverpool. We controlled that game from beginning to end, and we're starting to see this pattern of play with United now. We go a goal up and we just know how to defend. We don't defend with countless at the back. Okay, today we did towards the end, and that was because we knew Arsenal were going to throw the kitchen sink at us. So we had 10 minutes left, and he brought on Maguire and Casemiro. Wow, unbelievable, fantastic. And you've got to give credit to the players. They have really turned it around from what we saw. To be honest, a very similar team that we had last season under Ralf Rangnick to what we're seeing now with Erik Ten Hag. And that's no disrespect to Ralf. I'm not blaming him for the shambles that we saw last season. But now we've got a manager in who does not take any messing around. We saw that after the Brentford game, reportedly made them go out for a long jog to catch up with the amount of mileage that Brentford put in against us. I mean, wow. We're now sat 5th in the table. We're a point or 2 behind City. We're 4 or 5 points ahead of Liverpool now. Unbelievable. 6 games in. It's only 6 games in, but still, look at where we've been every other season for the last few years, and look at where we are now. And it's not just the fact that we're winning games, it's the manner in which we're winning games. We look so dominant, we look like we're controlling games. Even though the opposition might have more possession, we are dictating where they play and how they play, and we're not letting them play the way that they want to. Arsenal were very tricky today, but other than the goal that was disallowed, the goal that they scored, I can't really remember too much. It was a header from Martinelli that De Gea saved. Other than that, we kept them really quiet. They had a lot of possession, but they didn't have much to show for it after 90 minutes. So, I'm on my own today, no Tom, so I'm going to go through the match ratings. I had to do this. I'm buzzing, yet shocked and excited by what I'm seeing. I just can't believe this is Manchester United. We're back. We're slowly getting back. I'm not going to jinx it. We're slowly getting back. But I'm going to go do a run through of some of the scores that I've given the players during watching. Feel free to disagree, and I'm sure some people will disagree, and that's absolutely fine. It's a debate. It's fans. That's what we do. But I'm going to start with our goalkeeper, David De Gea. Other than that Martinelli save, he had very little to do today. He was where he needed to be. I thought that save was particularly good against Martinelli. It was a difficult one. He did well. But yeah, I can't really remember too many chances that he had to stop. So he was solid. He did what he needed to. He made a good save. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Thought he did well. Diego Dallo at right back. I mean, he has proven me wrong week in, week out. What a performance from that man. He was fantastic in attack, solid in defence. There was chances that they tried cutting down there. Zinchenko tried, beating him on the wing. He just had no chance. Diego Dalot, you are really becoming the player that I think when Jose signed you that he thought you would be, and I never saw it, and I don't think many other Manchester United fans saw it, to be honest. I think you are really coming into your own now, and you need to own that position more and more, and you are doing so. Fair play to you. So I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Fantastic performance. Now we're going into the centre-back position. I was full of praise coming into this game. After the Liverpool, the Southampton and the Leicester games, our centre-back partnership looked incredibly strong, and I think today they were probably, to an extent, the weakest part of our team. Not to say they were terrible, but it was just that out of everybody, I think them two, Martinez and Varane, didn't stand out as much as they usually have. I'll go into that maybe in a little more detail, but I'm going to go and give Varane a 6. And the reason I'm giving him a 6 is I think both him and Martinez firstly really struggled with Jesus today. I thought Jesus was fantastic. He ran at them, he held up the ball really well for such a small build. You look at him and you don't think he has that strength, he has that raw ability, but he does, and he plays in a very similar way to sort of like a Dimitar Berbatov. How he holds up the ball is really tricky to get that ball off, but the stature and the size, half the size of Berbatov, it's crazy. But onto Varane, I think he struggled with Jesus today. He did just about enough. But then obviously it was his pass, I believe, that gave the ball away to Arsenal, and they went down and scored from it. So yeah, I know it's maybe sound a bit harsh to some, but I'm going to go and give Varane a 6 today. Martinez, however, I'm going to go and give a 7. He struggled, but with the difference with Martinez was he made the difference when it mattered. So there was a couple of things towards the end, a couple of clearances that he made there. I think he actually picked up a small injury from clearing one of the balls. But yeah, I think he was great today. Really, really great. But he did struggle against Jesus. The difference between Varane and Martinez in that score is mainly because Varane gave the ball away that led to the Arsenal goal. So I am going to dock him a point for that. But Martinez, yeah, he's a quality player, isn't he? You look at him, he took Jesus down very early on in the game, and he just looks like a bully. He looks like a monster. There was a quote attributed to Jamie Vardy after the Leicester game that said Martinez is a bully, and he's nasty. I wouldn't like to play against him. Horrible player to play against. Very much like Vidic, and a lot of people are making that comparison, but yeah, he's nasty. And I think he's going to go down a real hero at United. Tyrell Malacia, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he was great again today. Early signs against Saka, I thought he was going to be exploited. I thought today was the day he was going to get a bit of grief. Saka got down there a couple of times, but then once Malacia figured out what he needed to do, he didn't really do much wrong. I thought he was solid. Thing is with Malacia, you forget how young he is. He's only a kid, and he's playing like a 26, 27-year-old player. He looks fantastic, and considering he's still got the best years ahead of him, like, wow. And I would be very worried if I was Luke Shaw. When Malacia came in, I think it was the Brentford game, and he looked the part. He looked really, really good. And I thought then, maybe he could take Shaw out the team for a little bit and put this kid in and see how he gets on. And then the Liverpool game, I was like, this guy's good. And he's just got better and better as every game's gone by. And, he's got that consistency that Shaw hasn't. Shaw's great in bursts. And I think when Shaw does have to come back into the team, we're going to see the best of Luke Shaw. But for now, Malacia is the main man for that left-back position. And Luke Shaw should be very worried. I wouldn't be surprised if conversations had already happened with his agent, because, yeah, I can't see him getting back into the squad anytime soon. Moving up now, I've got to start this one with an apology. Christian Eriksen. I didn't put him in my combined 11, and I argued the point. Tom wanted Eriksen, and I argued the point that Granit Xhaka in that position, in the formation that we play, he's solid. He can be a bit hot-headed, but against Manchester United over the years, Xhaka has been brilliant against us, and that was the reason I put him in. But Eriksen today proved me wrong. and he proved a lot of people in the Premier League wrong that said he couldn't do it. He is unreal. The runs he made, the passes he made, his range of passing, his vision, his work rate, everything is up there. And I'm embarrassed that I left him out, to be honest. After seeing that performance, I still do, even now. I'm embarrassed. But Eriksen, fantastic play. And yeah, my man of the match, and I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I think he was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to upgrade him to a 10. I don't think he did much wrong today. I'm going to give him a 10. Scott McTominay, oh man, another guy I owe an apology to, maybe with McTominay. I don't think his performances have been particularly justified over the last maybe season or two. The seasons of McFred, as it was. I'm really impressed now with what I'm seeing from Scott. I think he's playing really well with Eriksen in the midfield. They link up really well. They complement each other really well. And he's dirty. He's gone back to them the dirty old player that we used to know and love. What he did to Jesus today, he gave the ball away, and some midfielders would have left that, and Jesus would have had a clear run at goal. Soon as McTominay lost the ball, he was straight on him, dragged him down, slammed him to the floor. It was more like a WWE move than a tackle. It was fantastic. I love that. And he took the yellow card, took one for the team, and yeah, he's been great. And I hope, and in many ways, I think if he carries on like this, I don't see how you can take him out of the squad. Some fans still don't like him. Maybe it's an agenda. Maybe they just don't see something in him that I see. I think he's fantastic. I think he's been great since that Liverpool game. And I don't think you can take him out the squad until he starts to decline, which I do think is inevitable. We've seen glimpses of this Scott McTominay, but he's never been able to produce it on a long basis. This has probably been the longest he's kept or maintained this run of good form. So maybe Eric has got through to him. We'll have to see. But I'm going to give McTominay an 8.5. Beast today. Absolute beast. Antony, the debutant. Antony, what a start to your Manchester United career. Fantastic start. And do you know what? I enjoyed watching him today. Did a couple of flicks, a couple of tricks. He's feisty. He's pushing Zinchenko into the stands. He's shouting at people. He's telling people to push up. He's vocal. I love that. Forget the price tag. He's not worth the price tag, and I don't think anyone with a footballing brain can ever justify that, unless he goes on to become a world beater or the next Ronaldo, which I don't think anyone's expecting that. But wow, what a start. And I'm really excited. He was taking shots as well, which I like. I know a lot of people don't. I like that. I like it. There's nothing else on. Just go for goal. You never know what'll happen. Certainly against Ramsdale, who can be shaky at times. There was a couple of shaky moments that he had today. But yeah, I think Antony, brilliant start, and I'm really excited to see more of him. So I'm going to give him an 8. Great start to the club. 60 minutes he had he came off. Yeah, I think for Ronaldo, he was good. I was impressed. And I'm more excited to see what he does against clubs that we can actually attack. Arsenal had a lot of possession today, and Arsenal pinned us back. Not in a negative way, they just had more possession. I think we allowed them to play with possession today. I think that was part of the game plan. But when we play maybe some of the smaller clubs and we do have to attack, I'm very excited to see what he can bring. Sancho. Now, for me, Sancho got the joint worst with Varane. I didn't really rate him much today. I thought he was very quiet. Barely noticed him really. I thought he had a good opportunity today against I think it was against Ben White. But I don't know, I didn't really see much of him. I don't think he played badly. I just can't remember him doing anything that made me think, oh yeah, he's played well. So I went with a 6 for Jadon Sancho today. Just above average. Wasn't anything bad, wasn't anything spectacular. I thought he just did what he needed to, but nothing outside of that. And on to the main man himself, Marcus Rashford. Wow. I was so frustrated with him at times today. When he plays, and I don't know if this is something that Eric has discussed with him or if this is just something that he wants to start doing, but with Rashford, he doesn't seem to press at the right times. He seems to sort of like almost run with his head down. He just looks lost. And then all of a sudden he comes to life and he just transforms the team. And I don't know, I had that same feeling with him today. I thought, oh, he's just going to ghost the entire game, maybe get a lucky chance. But you know what? When it mattered, he was there. You know, our second goal, the one that he went through on, that was a fantastic goal. I know it took a deflection. The deflection, I think, ultimately did make it go in, but his run, his pace, his touch, everything I thought was fantastic. And I just want to see that uplift again. And he looked so happy when he scored. It looked like, again, the weight of the world had lifted off his shoulders. And then obviously the other one was a tap-in. It was more down to Christian Eriksen, the third goal. But, you know, they broke well. Best thing about Marcus Rashford, the thing I love the most about him, is he knows when to attack, he knows when to break. And I do think maybe I do have to, and maybe us fans, we have to trust that process with him. He knows when to break, and we just have to trust him with that. There was a game a couple of seasons ago against RB Leipzig, and we won 5-0. And I think he got a hat-trick that night. He either got two or he either got a brace or a hat-trick. And that night he scored a goal, and he broke on the halfway line, and it was just perfectly timed. So I think with the likes of Bruno and Eriksen, they're going to have a field day with him. And also bringing on to Bruno Fernandes, I just love Bruno. I'm a big fan of Bruno. I'm going to give him an 8 tonight. I don't know if it's a Rashford score. Rashford got a 9. I'm going to give Bruno an 8. He is a fantastic captain. He's always vocal, always shouting, always pointing, always having a go. Whenever something happens, he's straight to the ref. I know rival fans hate that, but when it's your player, I actually enjoy it. I don't mind it. I like it when, I'm a bit old school like that. I like it when the captain goes up and has a go at the ref. I like it. And I like to see more of it. And he's very demanding. He presses, he runs his socks off. And he leads from the front, and I think that's what we need. And no disrespect to Maguire, but I mean, even when Maguire came on, it was like, he doesn't strike me as a captain. He doesn't strike me as a leader. And I don't see him shouting at people and grabbing people and pushing people. Never seen that side of him. Where I've seen that with Bruno, I've seen him always pointing, always having a go, always blah, blah, blah. And people seem to respect him. Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he played really well. With the lads coming off the bench, Fred's a 7. He ran his socks off, but I mean, Fred maybe even get a 6. There was a couple of opportunities where he could have fed Ronaldo in, and he messed up the pass. And Ronaldo was clearly very, very frustrated with him. Maguire, I'm going to give a 5, 6 to. I'm going to give him a 6. Can't give him a 5. 6. Did his job, did what he needed to. Committed a foul, which I thought was a clever foul. Jesus had done him. Yeah, so I've got a tweet as well from Peter. Peter's tweeted into us to say he didn't really rate Sancho that much. Thought Rashford and McTominay was superb, which is pretty much what I've said as well. And that defence of ours was tested today, especially the centre-backs with Jesus. Thought they stood up to it brilliantly. Also a good debut for Anthony. Didn't get fully going, but can see that he oozes class. Maybe I've been a bit harsh on the centre-backs. They just didn't, for me, they didn't look as commanding as they have been. But Jesus is a top-quality striker. He's one of the best strikers that they've probably faced yet. So, yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on them. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. Please drop us a message, drop us a DM. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. If you just put in the hashtag, the Shoestring Budget Podcast will come up on there. And let's have this debate, let's continue this conversation, and most importantly, let's continue these good vibes. This is exactly where Manchester United should be. We're looking fantastic, we're looking brave, courageous, strong, and controlling games. Erik ten Hag, fantastic. I'm giving you a 9. I think you've been fantastic today. Brilliant.